Welcome to another episode of Sports and Discourse with your host Derek Stevenson, and we here for the live recap of Kentucky versus Arkansas, and man, it was crazy. Like my guy in the comments, Andrew said, it was a ugly one, but go Big Blue, and that's how I feel about it too. I ain't gonna lie to you. I thought we was about to lose. I thought we was about to drop this one too, and I started to feel a little more comfortable actually when Reed started handling the ball a little bit. I feel like over the last couple of games, I feel like Reed Shepherd kind of been getting lost in the sauce, and I ain't really for sure if it's his fault. I think maybe it's just that DJ's been playing a little better, so he probably been taking more shots. He been having the ball in his hands a lot more, and I think it's kind of taking a little bit away from Shepard's game. But I was kind of glad to see him kind of get back into the swing of things. I kind of felt comfortable when he was running the show. Andrew said, now we see how important Reckless Rob really is. Yeah. When I first heard, I didn't actually hear that Rob was going to be out until actually it was probably maybe less than an hour before the game even started, because I had actually just not really been paying attention. I had my alarm set for the game, but I really hadn't been paying too much attention to what was going on. I didn't know a dude was going to be back. Glad to see him back, and I hope that a dude can stay healthy, because we just need his presence. We need his physicality. We need his energy. So I was glad to see him back. But like I said, we definitely, it's gonna be hard for us to make a deep run without Rob. And hopefully, they said Rob just got a stomach bug. When they showed him when he was sitting over on the sidelines, I mean, he looked cool, so he probably could have went on and played. You know what I mean? If he was sick, he looked all right. So hopefully, whatever issue he got going on, he'll be back for the next game, because we can't afford to have him miss too many games. But overall, I'm gonna run through it a little bit. Antonio Reeves definitely did what he does. He scored a lot of points. He shot pretty decent. He was 9 for 20 from the field. That's decent. He was 4 for 8 from 3. And he ended up with 24 points. But like I said, I just hate that Antonio sometimes becomes one-dimensional. And like tonight, he only had 1 assist. And I would just like to see him do a little bit more than that. Maybe like 3 to 4. So, who knows? Tony C said, if he was sick, why was he on the sidelines? That's a good question. They said it was just a little stomach bug, and you know how that goes. I guess, he might have, he said nobody else wants that ish. Yeah, you're right. But maybe he just had had to be running back and forth to the bathroom, and he didn't want nothing to hit him while he was out there on the court. Who knows, man? Who knows what really be going on? Andrew said Thero missed so many layups, but he grabbed like 6 or 7 boards. Yeah, I know exactly that sequence you talking about, where he went to the basket and he ended up missing like 3 or 4 in a row. And I was like, come on, dude, like you got to put one of them in. But I'm gonna give him a little bit of a pass. He hadn't played in a while, so hopefully he'll clean that up. But I liked his energy though, because like I said, when they don't have a do in the game, it just seems like the big men usually get pushed around a lot. So I like having dudes with some size on them, and he's one of our most physically developed dudes that plays around the basket. So we definitely need a dude in there, just banging, just throwing his body around. He's always going to help. But yeah, I want to get back to my guy Reed though. Reed had a nice bounce back game because, like I was saying, I felt like he had kind of been getting lost in the sauce over the last several games, and I think a lot of it was due to DJ Wagner's been playing better. So I think with DJ Wagner's confidence going up, I think he's been more aggressive than he was in the beginning of the season. But I feel like that's kind of taken away from Shepard, because I feel like in the beginning of the season when DJ may not have been as confident, he was looking to move the ball a little bit more. And now I think he kind of looks to score a lot. And I'm not necessarily mad at that, but I feel like when Reed has the ball in his hands, he's making decisions for the team. Usually he makes some pretty good decisions. And he's kind of probably our most truest combo guard because he can pretty much play on the ball and off the ball. Probably does it the best. So I can, like, it seems like he can fit himself in the game no matter what's going on. If he needs to make decisions for other players, usually he makes good decisions and he can get guys some good looks, and then he can just take his as they come. You know what I'm saying? But he played well. He 2 for 3 from 3 points, 5 for 12 overall, 5 assists, 4 rebounds, and he had a couple of key steals that kind of broke the game open a little bit for us. So definitely glad to see Reed get back into the flow of things, man. I really like when he runs the show for us. He looked really good. My guy Trey Mitchell, he kind of shot poorly. He actually ended up being 3 for 6 from 3, but overall he was 3 for 10. So he didn't really have the greatest shooting night, but he still gave us a nice double-double. He gave us 10 points and 11 rebounds, and the one thing that I think I want to see a little bit more of, I've been talking with some of my people a little bit about this, and I want to see Reeves, Mitchell, and Adu become more vocal leaders. I want to see them kind of lead the way a little bit. And I'm not saying that they have to be the most talented players, they have to shoot up all the balls, but I want them to kind of, take the freshmen under their wing. And I know that they all said that, like, off the court, they've been good leaders, but I want to see on the court, I want to see the freshmen looking to these guys to be led by them, because I feel like if these guys are the main 3 people and they're, directing the traffic out there, and then, the freshmen don't have to think the game as much and they just follow their lead with their talent, I think they would play a lot better. And overall, I think the team would probably be more under control, less turnovers. So I'm really looking to see them just be more vocal on the court, because I feel like a lot of times, they kind of get lost in the sauce. And even though, like, guys like Reeves ends up with a lot of points, he took a lot of shots, but I still feel like there's a lot of moments where the freshmen don't even really look to them. And I would really just like to see more of that, like more of the communication from the older guys. And because I feel like if we're going to win the championship, I feel like we can't necessarily rely on the freshmen to be making the decisions down in the clutch moments. I feel like that's where you need the experience to come in so that they can help the younger guys, and then the younger guys can rely on their talent. But overall, you know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like Reeves and Mitchell had a really good game. Adu gave us some really good energy, even though he didn't score but 1 point. But he did have 6 boards, so Adu was working hard. And, hopefully he'll get it together. I don't know what's going on with Big Z, man, because I don't know if maybe he's not really completely in game shape or whatever the case may be, but the last couple of games, man, Cal kind of gave up on him pretty quickly. So I wonder what's going on with that. I wonder if, is Cal specifically looking for something from him that he's not giving him. I don't know what the case is with that, but after that first game, I thought Z was just going to keep, giving us some consistency. But the next two games, he pretty much been trash. So hopefully, he can get back on track and give us a little something. Because I was expecting him to at least be giving us like 10 and 5 off the bench every night. But he ain't, we got to give him a couple games. I'm thinking maybe he just probably ain't in game shape yet. I'm surprised Cal bent Z. I figured he would have 25 minutes. Yeah, that was kind of what I was thinking too. Like, but I don't know. Like I said, got to see what's going on with him. But maybe that's the case. Anyenzo ended up pretty much playing the most minutes out of all the big men, and I think Cal likes Anyenzo because Anyenzo does try to block shots. He is aggressive on the glass. I know he only had 4 rebounds and 6 points, but he does try to get in there and mix it up. And I think maybe Cal might be trying to send a message to Big Z and Bradshaw that if you want to get the minutes, you got to go in there and get aggressive. You got to be hungry. So hopefully that's what that is, and hopefully we'll see Big Z get some more minutes. I was happy to see Edwards get less minutes until he shows he wants to be aggressive. Yeah, man. Edwards, I think Edwards is going to have to wake up now because he literally gave, I know normally we don't expect great numbers from Edwards, but tonight he didn't give us anything. He gave us 0 points, 1 assist, 1 rebound, and 1 missed field goal in 9 minutes. And I think, hopefully, I think Cal's trying to send Edwards a message, and hopefully he receives it, and hopefully he'll wake up, man, because he could be a key piece if he can get consistent and give us a decent performance. Man, that could be the key because he has the potential to be a great defender. He has the potential to be a 10-point scorer a game. So he's got to just figure it out, man. He's got to learn how to get himself involved in the game. Z's attitude seems lazy, like he knows he's a lotto pick. And, sometimes that's what you got to deal with because he probably is going to be a lottery pick, and maybe he is dialing it in a little bit, and that's probably what Cal's trying to tell him, like my brother, man, we need you, but if you ain't going to be giving us your all, then we going to get you up out of there. And because, Anyenzo ain't lazy, like Andrew said. Yeah, Anyenzo might not be the best skill-wise. He might not, have the most potential, but he does play hard. So, at this point, we need people that's playing hard on defense. Yeah, we struggled offensively again. We only put up 63 points, which is far off of what we normally do. But defensively is where we got to improve. So even if, we're not having a night where we scoring, I still got to give them credit for holding Arkansas to 57 points. Z is the weakest defensive big. He needs another year to put on some muscle. To be honest with you, I think all of these kids really need another year. I don't think any of them, and I'm just talking about the young ones. Like, I'm not, not talking about Reeves and Mitchell in this instant. But everybody else probably needs 1 or 2 more years because if they're going to go in the draft, they're going to get picked. Probably a lot of them will get picked in the first round, but they're going to get sent straight to the G League. None of them are going to be able to play significant minutes in the NBA right now. So realistically, they all should probably come back. Didn't see the beginning of the game. Did Edwards start? You know what? I didn't see it either, honestly. I was upset about that too because, I turned it on ESPN and they had Duke on there playing Clemson, and I was waiting for that game to get over, and they was dragging it out. It was a little controversy at the end. I feel like Duke got away with a little bit of they got a little phantom call, but I ain't even want to talk about that. They ended up winning, and finally they turned on Kentucky, and Kentucky was getting beat. And I started off watching the game worried, to be honest. Imagine Rob as a junior. Yeah, see. Oh no, he didn't start. Thero started, and see. I'm glad that Thero's starting, to be honest, because, like I said, we got to go with the guys that's going to play hard on the other end of the court. And that's one thing, like I said, Thero only had 1 point, but the 6 rebounds is key. And just knowing that he's going to be on the glass and he's going to be playing hard. Yeah, he might have missed all them layups, but he's still getting the offensive boards. He's playing hard. And Edwards only played 9 minutes. Yeah. He only played 9 minutes, but like I said, I hope that this wakes him up, because now it's like your minutes is probably going to be limited from here on out. So you better make sure when you get in the game, you're ready to go. Like, you ready to play, you ready to contribute. But yeah, like him and Edwards is only about the 9th best player. Yeah, Edwards is just, I don't know. I just don't understand the Edwards situation, because when I was watching these kids, like the people on here that follow my show, y'all know that I loved Rob Dillingham. Like, that was my guy. I raved about Rob. But honestly, low key, I just always looked at Edwards being 6'7", being athletic, looking like he had a good jumper. I thought he could be a nice, solid wing defender. Like, I thought he was gonna be probably one of the better players on the team, easy. So I'm just super confused that he struggles so much, because I feel like he has the tools and the natural abilities and gifts to just find his way in the game. Like the way, I know he's not as big as Thero, but the way Thero can just go in and just bang and get some rebounds and give himself some opportunities, even though no players are being ran for him. That's kind of what I expected from Edwards. I expected Edwards to have at least 2 or 3 games where, he looked like the best player on the court, and he's yet to give us one. Does Clutch represent Edwards? I'm not really for sure about that. I know I'm pretty sure they represent Bradshaw, but I'm not actually for sure if Edwards is a part of Clutch. I know Chris Livingston was, but I ain't for sure about Edwards. I'm gonna check on that actually, to try to see if I can figure that out. Yeah, everybody can score. Who wants to scrap and play defense? That's the most important right now. Yeah, and even going back to Shepherd, like, I know, Shepherd might not be the greatest on-ball defender, but Shepherd figures out how to be effective on defense. Like, he just knows how to worry people a little bit. Like, he gonna get up in your stuff. He got active hands. You know what I'm saying? He's always paying attention to the passing lane. So Shepard's just he just finds a way to make some stuff happen. So I'm glad to see he got back on track, because the last couple of games I was just getting worried. Like, I was like, man, is he losing his confidence? Is it like, because it just looked like he was kind of getting froze out on offense, and I was just wondering, like, but hopefully this will springboard him back to where he was playing more consistent like he was in the beginning of the season, because he was one of our best players, if not arguably our best player for a little stretch there. So hopefully, he'll get back to doing what he normally was doing. He looked real good tonight, Like I said, he was playmaking with the 5 assists, along with the efficient shooting game and 14 points. So, Yeah, Shepard is intelligent. That's why I was kind of saying earlier I like Shepard running the point guard because I feel like even if Shepard is in attack mode offensively, I feel like he's always still constantly viewing and seeing the court and just aware of how he can make plays for other people. Whereas some of the other ones like DJ and Rob, when they playing point guard, I feel like once they make a move, once they commit to scoring, that's what they're going to try to do. And I just feel like Shepard has always kind of got that, in the back of his mind to where he can see and, what's developing and get some other guys involved. Same with Antonio Reeves. He's the same way, too, as far as when he tries to score, when he commits to scoring, he commits to scoring. Like when he makes a move, normally it's to get his shot. And obviously we need guys like Reeves and Dillingham to score at a high rate for us to be successful. But I just feel comfortable when Shep is the primary ball handler to make decisions for the other guys so that they can do what they do, which is score. Is it just me, or does Jay Billis on the low hate Kentucky, loves to see us lose? Yeah, it's a lot of players out there that I feel like or a lot of people, not a lot of players, but it's a lot of people out there that I feel like hate Kentucky. So I'm just kind of used to it at this point. But yeah, he might got a little something going on. You just never know, really. Bradshaw beat Florida for us, but what else has he done? Yeah. Bradshaw is another one, like, I feel like at some point in his career, he is going to be good. But I just don't know if physically, if he's going to be able to compete hard in the SEC to where he makes an impact this year at Kentucky. And unfortunately, for most of these guys, all we're going to have them for is 1 year. So this is basically like their senior year. So hopefully they pick it up, man. But just right now, that center position is just, it's just really not being great for us besides, a couple of games, a couple of moments from each one of them. But we don't really have no consistency at that position. You don't know from night to night what, that collective group of three guys are going to give you. So Bradshaw got to tighten it up. Same with Big Z. They got to work harder because I expect more from them than I do of Onyenso because I think offensively they're more developed than Onyenso. And I think defensively they should be able to do something close to what Onyenso does. Like, they should be able to get 4 or 5 rebounds each, along with giving you 8 to 10 points. Bradshaw falls down so often. Yeah, one thing that I noticed about Bradshaw, and I could be tripping, but I just feel like Bradshaw's arms look a little shorter than most of the other players in proportion to his body. Like, and I mean, he probably still has long arms, but for him to be the height that he is, it just seems like his length is a little bit smaller than it should be, or a little bit shorter, I say, than it should be. But like I said, I could just be tripping, but I feel like every time I see him, it just looks like, and that's how Malik Monk was too. And I think that actually hurt his draft stock a little bit because I think they like put that as a negative rating on Malik Monk that he has shorter arms or shorter wingspan for guards, along with him not being super tall. I think they were worried that he wasn't going to get his shot off, but obviously he gets it off just fine. But that was a little knock on him. The only freshman that might come back is Shepard. I would love to see Shepard come back because I just like the idea of a Kentucky kid coming and playing 2 or 3 years and hopefully leading Kentucky to a championship. But like I said, I would love it if they could just figure out a way for NIL to pay these guys enough to keep a few of them, just because I feel like that what's going to happen is most of them Most of them are going to go to the NBA. They're going to go straight to the G League. They're going to be playing in the gym, probably in front of a couple thousand people, riding on, buses, staying in Motel 6s. They might lose their confidence. They might lose their love and drive for the game. So I feel like now with the ability to pay players, I feel like it's better to stay in college because you can develop in college. And 2 or 3 years of these guys playing in Kentucky, then I would be confident that when they go to the NBA, they be ready to actually play, ready to help a team, ready to contribute. So I definitely think a lot of these guys would benefit from, staying at Kentucky. But unfortunately, I don't know if any of them are going to stay because I think I just seen a mock draft and they had Reed super high. I think Justin Edwards had dropped down a little bit, but I think he was still like 25th. So, it depends on how he looks at that. He might look at it like I'm going in the first round. So, has Oscar played any games with the Pacers this year? Yeah, I think he may have played in like 1 or 2. But, same way with him, even though I know he was up in age or whatever the case may be, but he was playing in the G League, and I think Oscar had a couple of monster games in the G League. I think he did like a couple times he might have did like 30 points and 20 rebounds. But it would have been better for him to stay at Kentucky and develop another year, get some money, play in front of, play with the pressure of Kentucky. I think that's more helpful than playing in those small gyms in front of a small crowd. I think oh yeah, Andrew, you're right. He did he tried to excuse me. He tried to take Giannis's ball. I forgot what Giannis accomplished that night, but normally they give the rookie the ball when he scores his first point or something like that, but Giannis did something crazy, so they gave it to Giannis. So I think that's what happened. But yeah, because like if you look at it, like technically, I think on this team we could have had Ty Washington back on this team. We could have had Oscar on this team, Chris Livingston. So if some of these guys would just be a little patient, I think it would benefit them as well as Kentucky. We would have a more seasoned veteran team. They would get more experience and probably get a better situation when they get drafted. Because if you look at the championship teams that we've had, even though technically they say we won our 2012 championship with one and dones, but if you really look at it, the leaders on the team was Terrence Jones, Deron Lamb, Darius Miller, and then the other guys, Anthony Davis, Gilchrist, Teague, and them boys, they just fit themselves in around the veterans. And the veterans did the leadership work, and then the younger guys just put their talent in where they fit it in. And that's probably why they won the championship. If they wouldn't have had Miller and Jones and Lamb on that team, they probably wouldn't have won the championship. So I just feel like it's just hard when you have to completely rely on freshmen. So I think a lot of these guys would probably be better off if they came back another year. Because I just think they would be more consistent. Like you wouldn't have, like Big Z giving you zeros across the board. Well, I mean, he got 2 rebounds, but, you wouldn't have those type of games from these players if they was in their second and third year. You would have more consistency like you do from Trey Mitchell. Like normally Trey Mitchell is going to give you about 10 plus points and about 5 rebounds. You can almost book that every game. And then tonight, he gave us a little bit more board work, gave us 11 rebounds. Antonio Reeves is usually going to score 20 points. So the older these guys get, the more seasoned they get. You just get the security of knowing that they pretty much going to give you the same or close to the same thing every night. And right now we just have so much so much uncertainty, because like especially with our big men, and that's the thing about it is normally when we have 7-footers, since Calipari's been here, our 7-footers have usually protected the rim really good. I mean, I know we may have had a couple that play below the basket, like Dakari Johnson and a couple guys like that, but for the most part we've had some really elite shot blockers. And I thought that between these three we would have at least, maybe not one of them would be elite, but between the three I feel like we would have elite shot blocking. But defensively they just, like I said, Onyenso plays the hardest, and that's probably why he's getting the most minutes. But the other two, we just got to get them more aggressive on the defensive end. Let me see what it say. We face guarded the ball much better tonight. Yeah, we definitely did play some better defense. We still got a long way to go, but I was encouraged to see, to see us only give up 57 points, especially on the road, because I feel like every game that we play on the road is just going to be hard. I feel like it's just going to be a test every single time. And I don't think there's going to be any easy games at home, but I feel like that's the only time we may get a chance to relax is at home. On the road, it's going to be like this, I think, pretty much every single game. But we got lucky because we didn't play good tonight. We shot 36% from the field, but they shot 33%. So, it's just one of those situations where we just outperformed them just a little bit better. And it's probably just because we shot the 3-ball better. We did shoot 45% from 3, and they only shot 21%. So they shot terrible from the arc. But I was glad to see we only had 9 turnovers and we had 13 assists. I would love to see the assists been a little higher, though. I would like to see 20-plus assists and less than 10 turnovers. That's whenever Kentucky's doing that and they moving the ball, their offense is on go. And I think sometimes they get, when they start to feel the pressure, I think some of them start to feel like they got to make more one-on-one plays instead of just trying to keep playing team ball and chip away and chip away and chip away. It might feel like it's taking a longer time to get back in the game, but if you just play more consistent, you can just, chip away at the lead better than trying to do one-on-one, because I don't really think any of these guys are good enough to just completely go crazy and take over a game one-on-one. I think they all collectively need each other for the offense to click, because the way that all their games are set up, when the ball's moving, like people is cutting, people's passing, they just play so much better. There's a few guys on there that can get their shots off, like Rob can dance a little bit with the ball and get his shot up, but even still, he plays much better when the ball's just moving and it gets to him in good spots. And even if he does make moves off the dribble and stuff like that, he makes them better when the ball is just whipping around the court. And the same with DJ. Even when DJ is going to the basket, it's just much better. Like if he catches the ball and after somebody kicks it to him and he makes a move and goes to the basket versus him just trying to go one-on-one. So I definitely like it better, when they get high assists. I think we match up with Tennessee very well, and I think we get the Vols by 10. I haven't actually watched Tennessee for real, so I really don't know how they look. But Tennessee's always tough, so I gotta wait and see. But Hopefully we do get Tennessee. You know, I always hate when we lose to Tennessee. That's one of them teams that I just they probably, if I had to rank the teams that I don't like, I gotta put Louisville number 1. Then I'm gonna put Duke number 2, and Tennessee probably number 3 for me. So I definitely I don't like losing to Tennessee at all. So hopefully we gonna get them. But yeah, we ended up having 8 steals too. That's one of the things that that's encouraging. The defensive stats, when I see them, it makes me feel a little better. At least I know if we was stealing the ball, we was getting active. We only had 6 blocks, but I guess it's better than nothing. Arkansas had 9 blocks though, which was, you know, we gotta be a little bit more under control when we go into the basket, because there's a lot of times I feel like I know I seen DJ do it maybe once or twice. I seen Reeves do it a couple times. They make moves, and then when they get to the basket, they kind of, it's almost like they didn't really jump hard, or they kind of went like they softened up when they felt like they had the open layup, and then dudes was just coming out of nowhere and swatting it. So they gotta be a little bit more aware, and they gotta, you know, once they make the move, they gotta remember they still gotta finish it. Like, you still gotta go hard until you know the ball's in the basket. Solid win tonight. Kentucky Wildcat fan said, "Yeah, I was just happy to get that one on the road, because Kentucky had been struggling on the road. So even though they didn't play great, it was an ugly win. I was just glad to see them, you know, towards the end of the game, make a little run and start to create a little distance. I think at one point, I forgot how much time was left. At one point, I think they went up 9 or something, maybe late in the second half. And then, you know, they just kept the lead, just, you know, maintained, which, you know, that's what you want to see. Like, just get the lead and then maintain it. They might take a couple points off. You add a couple points and you just get out of there with the victory and come on back to Lexington. So that's, you know, I was glad to see them be able to do that. Tennessee grinds it, pounds the paint and defense, but they are slow. And if that's the case, then, you know, hopefully we'll be able to get out and run. Because when we get out and run, Kentucky's dangerous in transition. Even our guy that plays bad, Justin Edwards, if he gets out and runs in transition, you know, he's dangerous. Half court offense, you know, he ain't put it together yet. But if Kentucky gets out running, and then they got guys spotting up for threes, and, you know, people slash into the basket, Kentucky definitely can get some points quick. So if Tennessee is slow, then we got to run them. We got to run them. We got to tire them out. Andrew said that loss at Texas A&M, I'm blaming DJ for that. You talking about when he fumbled the ball or whatever. And see, that's one of those things where I feel like that's just DJ being young. Because I feel like DJ in year 2 or year 3, I feel like those type of mistakes he wouldn't make, because I feel like he would just, number one, be confident in himself. He would be experienced. He would be more focused and more locked in, because there's just some points during the game where, like, you just mentally have to be 100% in the moment. Like, you have to, you know, be fully focused on each and every single play. And I think, you know, I think his mind might have been, you know, trying to process too much at one time, and just a simple thing like just catching the ball, and he just fumbled it. So definitely we could have won that A&M game, but, you know, we made a couple mistakes. But like I said, that's where I would like to see some of these older cats be a little bit more vocal with the leadership. There's certain points during the game where I feel like they should be calling for the ball. Even Trey Mitchell, like I feel like he should demand the ball more because I feel like even if he's not looking to score, he makes really good like high IQ decisions for the team. So I feel like I really like when he has the ball because 9 times out of 10, I'm just confident he's gonna make a good play, whether it be him shooting or him passing. I feel like he's gonna do the right thing. So I feel like at certain times during the game, that's when you need to see the older players, slow the young kids down and make sure everybody's on the same page. So I would love to see him and Tone and Adu be a little bit more vocal, a little bit more helpful to the young guys. Take some of that pressure off of them. So that's what I'm looking to see. They settle with threes because they're open. They don't realize a 27-foot three open still isn't that high of a percentage. Yeah, you're right. You are right. Kentucky shoots a lot of threes, but I don't think it's gonna stop though because I think they said statistically this is at least Cal's best shooting Kentucky team. So I'm pretty sure Cal's encouraging them to shoot the three, and they're not gonna stop. And I think they actually got like a decent amount of players that's shooting the three ball at 30% and up. I think the only people that may be shooting it lower than 30%, I think they were saying was like might have been Bradshaw. He's a little bit lower than 30, and Justin Edwards. But I think everybody else that shoots the three that qualifies is shooting it at 30%. Then you got, like, I don't know if Reed is still at 50%, but at one point Shepard was over 50%. I'm sure like Tone is probably like 40s, and Dilly's probably like 38 to 40. So they do shoot it well, but I just want them to take good shots. Whether they shoot mid-range or threes, I just want them to move the ball to try to get somebody an open look, because I feel like they do shoot well when they're open. It's when they start doing too much one-on-one is where I think they fall into the trap. Like when you're playing open gym with some dudes, I give Trey Mitchell open threes all damn night till he made them consistently. I think Trey is a good shooter though. I think if you leave Trey open a lot, I think he will shoot a good percentage. I like when Trey gets the ball. Like I said, but I like his playmaking for the other guys too though. I think he's just the most consistent and the most solid one, because I feel like he don't never try to play outside of his game. Like he don't never try to do too much. I feel like he's the most calm, the most under control one. So I like when Trey got the ball in his hands. It's a new age of thinking every open shot is a good one, regardless of how far they are from the rim. Yeah, the new kids they just brought up like that. That's why you see all the centers and stuff taking threes. That's why I like when Big Z comes into the game, his first thought is go to the 3-point line and shoot threes. Like, but I just want to see Big Z just be more aggressive, because the first game he came out like he was hungry to prove something, like he was probably just destroy college basketball, like he was gonna make the NCAA pay for making him sit. And I was like, man, if this is what we get in the first game, I was like, man, Big Z is about to go crazy. And last 2 games he just pretty much been non-existent. He disappeared. So hopefully excuse me, hopefully Big Z will wake back up. We have to slow down I don't even know how to say that kid's name. What is it? Netch to beat Tennessee. That's a bad white boy. Yeah, like I said, I gotta watch Tennessee because I ain't really familiar with their roster, and I ain't really seen too many games. Or So I'm gonna check them out. I'm a watch some highlights of their last couple games and see what they about. See what we got coming. Cal always puts a leash on his players in the past, which I don't agree with. There's just certain times in the game when you don't take that deep shot if it's critical. Yeah. Cal has definitely put leashes on some players, and then some players he gives the ultimate green light to. So it just kind of depends. I think, Cal's always said, he looks at how the practice is going, and we've all seen he has certain guys that he has confidence to do certain things, and then other guys, he absolutely tells them there's things on the court that he doesn't want them to do. I think if y'all remember, Winnie and Gabriel had came out and said something about that. How, if you remember, when Gabriel was in high school, he played out on the floor a little bit. He kind of played like a lot of these new age big men. He was already trying to play like that, and I think he thought he was going to get to utilize that type of skill set when he came to Kentucky, and Calipari was not having it. Calipari wasn't letting him dribble the ball, trying to take people to the rim. Calipari wasn't having none of that. Calipari basically let Gabriel develop into a pretty good spot-up shooter at Kentucky. And Gabriel probably was a little disappointed because he probably thought he was going to get a leash to do a little bit more than that. And I mean, he's been fortunate. He's still hanging around in the NBA, so he's still playing professionally. But he probably felt like if he would have got turned loose, he might have been a little bit better. But who knows? Yeah, there was one year he had all the confidence in the world in Isaiah Briscoe. I thought Briscoe was solid. He was just a turnover machine. Yep, and the part that I don't like about the whole Isaiah Briscoe situation is I feel like we didn't really get a chance to really see what Briscoe could do, because I feel like Briscoe he came to Kentucky at the absolute worst time. He came after Tyler Eulis and right before Fox, so he had to play with both of them. So it's like, you not playing point guard if Tyler Eulis is here. Then it's like, all right, next season you thinking you're going to get it, and then Fox comes. So it was super unfortunate for him that he basically never really got a chance to play point guard. He was playing undersized small forward. So I think he did the best he could do at that particular time, and he developed more after he left Kentucky. He didn't really get to develop while he was here, and I think that's why he ended up, he played a few games. He got a few NBA games under his belt, but he probably was a little bit behind because he didn't really get to develop his skills at Kentucky. So he was probably, he was working from behind when he actually got his opportunity. And I think now he's fully developed. He's a solid enough player, but probably just ain't nobody interested in him because, of his age and stuff now. But I met De'Aaron Fox his freshman year. I was taller and heavier than him. I asked him if he was better than Malik, and he paused and said, "Go home." Yes, and how you said you was taller and heavier. That's the crucial part about having a team full of freshmen, is that they basically high school guys still. Like, they not, they might be legally adults, but they still, most of them aren't physically developed. Like, every once in a while you get some guys like Bam. Bam was pretty developed as a freshman in high school, so he was able to like bang and muscle with the pretty much every big man that he played against. But you don't hardly ever really get that too much out of freshmen. Most of these guys are tall, but they are skinny, and they just don't got the size on them. Like, I was watching a little bit of the Duke and Clemson game before Kentucky came on, and That's one of the things I seen where they just got a few guys that's just big dudes. So that's the key sometimes, and I think that's what the struggle is with Bradshaw. Like I think Bradshaw, if Bradshaw was more physically developed, I think we would get better production out of him. Because I definitely think he would be able to score better, but I think the other deficiencies in his game, like the rebounding and different stuff like that, I think he would be better if he was 2 or 3 years more physically developed. Excuse me. I think Cal should start Dillingham, way too explosive on offense to be on the bench. Yeah. This is the reason why I don't think he's going to start Dillingham, though. And I'm just going to be honest with you. I agree with you. I think he should start. But I think Calipari just loves DJ to a fault. Like, that's his guy. You know what I'm saying? Like, Calipari's cool with DJ's whole family. Like, I think Calipari just, actually just loves DJ's family. Like, so I think he looks at that like, he probably looks at DJ like his, his nephew or, something like that. So I think he's not going to take the starting point guard position from DJ, even though I think Shepherd and Dillingham could both run the team a little bit better. But overall, DJ has been playing steady enough to where Cal can justify starting him. It's not like he's not playing bad like the way Edwards is playing. I think if DJ was playing as bad as Edwards was playing, then he might not have no choice but to start Dillingham or Shepherd. But I think he hung in there and see, I think in the beginning of the season, DJ and Edwards was playing kind of bad, and I think Cal was just trying to give them the opportunity to pick it up and figure it out. And I think DJ sort of figured it out. He still has his moments, but for the most part, he's playing much better. And I think he was thinking that it was gonna happen for Edwards too, and it just hasn't happened yet. And I think it's just at a point where he just didn't have a choice. It's like he's got to do something, like, because at this point Edwards is just, he's kind of hurting the team by being out there. So hopefully, whether he starts Dillingham or not, he can control the minutes a little better, and maybe in some games he might have to limit DJ's minutes a little bit. And I'm not saying like, he could still play him 20 minutes a game, but he might have to play Rob a few more minutes. Like if DJ playing 25 minutes a game, he might have to play Rob 30. So hopefully he can start really figuring out how to manage this team, because Cal's got a huge ego. Yeah, he does. Cal definitely got the huge ego. So he probably, the guys that he started originally, he probably thought those was the best players. So he probably wants them to succeed. And you know how Cal is. He wants them to get to the NBA. So he probably really wants Justin to have that breakout game so that he can, go on to the next level and get his career started. But he just ain't got no choice at this point. Like, you got to take Justin out the game. And he's got to play bench warmer minutes now. His confidence is in the gutter. It is. It definitely is. I think he's mentally. I think he's pressing too much. I think he's probably aware of how bad he's been playing, and he probably is aware of what the fans are saying, and I think it's probably weighing on him a lot. So hopefully he can figure out a way to. But maybe this might take some of the pressure off of him coming off the bench, because maybe he just might not feel like he's got to press as hard, and maybe he might accidentally have one of those games where he get his confidence back up. He plays well, hopefully. Reed wasn't supposed to start. He played well and kind of earned it. He's just really good defensively and offensively. He can get the job done. I wouldn't start him personally. I think Reed's cool with coming off the bench. But I do like Reed with the ball in his hands because I feel like he's one of the better decision makers from the guard spot. And I think like you said, he can play. He's pretty consistent with what he does on both ends of the court. Even though the last couple of games, like we had said earlier, he had kind of disappeared a little bit, but he found his way back tonight. So hopefully, he'll continue to play like he was earlier in the season. But I think he just got froze out a little bit because I think other guys started to build some confidence, and it kind of took the ball out of his hand a little bit. So I think tonight with him getting the ball back in his hands more, I think that's why you seen him playing a little better. I want to see Cal get ejected for biting the ref. I don't think he'll get ejected for biting the ref, but I'm pretty sure he probably gonna get ejected at least once this season. Probably not for biting the ref though, but probably on one of them road games where they having another close game like this, I could see it happening. Cause like we were saying, the road games are just all gonna be tough. I think they're gonna all be like low scoring games where just defensively you have to win the game, and that's the part that worries me about Kentucky is defensively. I don't know if I can depend on them, So hopefully, they just figure out something defensively. It's nothing really to say about it. They just got to get more aggressive. They got to play smarter on defense. They got to help each other more. They got to be more vocal. They got to protect the rim better. This fan base and the media is too much sometimes. NBA players go in ruts and don't even hear it like these kids are. Yeah, and that's one of the reasons why a lot of the NBA players that come from Kentucky contribute some of their success to that, because Kentucky fans are on your ass all season. Sometimes we have unrealistic expectations. And sometimes we have a little, like, too much confidence or too high of expectations for these kids. So yeah, it's tough. I know it's tough to play here. You got to be mentally prepared, because it's like an emotional roller coaster. It's like when you play well, we love you, everything's great. When you play bad, we're going to tell you that you playing, awful and that you need to step your game up. And if these kids were older, if these kids were juniors and seniors, they probably would be able to handle that better and bounce back from it easier. But it's probably not easy to, to find your way through all of that when you're young, as some of these players are. I know Ryan Harrow was one that struggled with that pretty bad. Ryan Harrow was talented, but I think the pressure of being the starting point guard at Kentucky kind of ate him up. And I remember at one point they said, like, Teague was calling him on the phone, and Teague was kind of telling him about how, like, it was, at one point we was on Teague, and then I guess he was trying to encourage him and just telling him to, like, tune all of that out and stay focused and try to just mentally prepare yourself as much as you can. Z can be so good. Stop camping him on the 3-point line and slash him. Yeah, I think I liked Z. When I seen Z make them couple little moves where he was dribbling and going to the basket, I like that a lot. Like, no, don't get it twisted. I love the fact that he was hitting threes. But I liked his moves that he made going to the basket. And I feel like if he can do that type of stuff, he could be a strong player around the paint. But like I said, I don't know. I feel like Calipari's mad at Z. I feel like Z been slacking off, or he been practicing bad or something. And I feel like Calipari is trying to let him know, like, hey, look, like if you ain't get ready to put the effort out there, then we got some other people that's gonna try. I feel bad for Jordan Burks because I think Jordan Burks plays hard when he gets in the game, but he just can't, he can't break in that lineup. I think if he is a little bit taller, I think he would have got a shot. I think while Adu Thero was out, I think he may have got a chance if he was a little bit taller. But I just hope that Jordan doesn't. I hope Jordan stays on the team because, like I said, I want to see some of these guys stay on the team and develop and get better so that we actually can get a more polished version of some of these players to actually help at Kentucky. Because right now, all of these guys that we looking at, all the young guys, we looking at the worst possible versions of them. We looking at Rob, Reed, Bradshaw, Z, Wagner. We looking at the worst versions of them. So in 2 or 3 years, when they polished up, we gonna be like, if we don't win the championship, we're gonna be so disappointed. But yeah, we just gotta hope that some of these guys will come back. But you know how it goes. Z was smiling full teeth when we was down 5. Yeah, see, like you gotta get locked in, man. You can't be playing around. You can't be just joking. Like you gotta be serious when you out there. Maybe if you remember last year, Coach Cal called out Adu Thero for some of that stuff, not playing hard and not being in good shape. And now, Adu Thero plays hard. He seems to be in better shape, and he definitely plays harder when he's out there now. Like we said earlier, he missed a lot of his layups, but he was scrapping down there. He was getting busy. He was getting after it. He's crashing the boards. So, hopefully with some more repetitions after missing so many games, that's something that he can easily clean up. So this year is the most aggressive Cal has allowed the offense to play, and I love it. Yeah, he lets some of these guys be themselves more than he has. He definitely like Rob. Rob said that he loves the fact that Coach Cal encourages him to play his style of game. He just tried to keep him from going too crazy with it, but I guess he's just trying to teach him how to pick his spots better. There's moments for you to make those type of plays, and then there's moments when it's not really appropriate. So hopefully he just trying to help him figure it out. Martin Robert, what's good? What's up, brother? Because Tyler Eulis is on the bench. Yeah. I definitely think Tyler Eulis has been a great asset because I'm sure he's been giving them guys a whole lot of game, man. Like Tyler Eulis was one of the smartest players that I ever seen at Kentucky. For him to be as effective as he was with his size, and Tyler Eulis really didn't play fast. Tyler Eulis was always under control, but never seemed to really get. He was always able to get to his spots, and he was a master of controlling his space. He knew exactly how much room he needed to get his shot off. Tyler Eulis was just, if Tyler Eulis would have been, average NBA point guard size like 6'4", I don't have no doubt that Tyler Eulis would have been the starting point guard in the NBA. Superstar or not, I don't know, but he definitely would have been the starter. But hopefully a lot of these guys are learning some stuff. And I even feel like not even just point guards. I feel like all the players could learn something from him because he's just so smart, and he just hopefully he's teaching them to make really good decisions. Reed and Trey crunch time. Yep. Yeah, we've been talking about Reed and Trey. Just me personally, I like their decision making. I like both of them with the ball in their hands because I think not only can they score, but they can, they two of the best playmakers for our other guys. So I definitely love Reed and Trey, man. They played well tonight. Like I was saying earlier too, I was glad to see Reed get back to his normal production status because he had kind of fell off the last couple of games. So glad to see him doing his thing. I don't need no damn 6'5" point guard in college hoops, even NBA for that matter. But that's kind of just pretty much all there is now. There's not a whole lot of guys in the NBA that are little guys anymore. They just don't draft them. And Tyler Ulis is a true point guard, but there's not really, I don't think that they really want true point guards necessarily anymore. If you look at it, most of the guards are combo guards. It really seems like they just want guys that can score, but can make decent decisions and pass a little bit. But as far as true point guards, there's not many left in the NBA. Now you find more college teams that have less size because it's just so many teams out there. But in the NBA, they really don't hardly ever look for guys under 6 feet anymore unless you like really special. Because I think Tyler Ulis was as good as you could get for a guy that's like 5'10" or whatever the case may be. And they gave him a little chance. And I watched some of Tyler Ulis's games in the NBA. He played pretty decent. I've seen him match up with Chris Paul, hold his own pretty good. But eventually, they just look to replace you with somebody that's tall. Seems like they size kings. But yeah, that's just the way the league is going. Like the league just changed. They want the guards to all be tall. They want the centers to all be able to shoot jumpers, especially 3-pointers if they can. But they at least want the centers to be able to shoot some nice little mid-range jumpers. They don't really look for just strictly back to the basket centers. So they just the game has just changed, man. I don't know if it's for the better or for the worse. I like small ball with this squad. No 7-footers except for a few minutes. Now that a dude Thero is back, I wouldn't mind seeing them revisit that. I would like to see him try Mitchell back at the center, a dude Thero at the power forward. Then whatever combination of the other 3 guards you want. Reeves probably is going to definitely be one of those. Then, you could mix up with Wagner, Dilly, and Shepard, however you want to do that. I would like to see that particular lineup play a decent amount of minutes together and see what they could do. I think that would be one of our better lineups. But it just, have to see how they can do defensively because I think it's just hard for him not to play the 7-footers because he just feels like he got to give himself a little bit of a potential for shot blocking, even though they don't do it that well. I'm going to tell you why I think Reeves is projected to be the lowest draft pick. And I think Reeves, to an NBA scout, looks the most one-dimensional. When I look at Reeves, I feel like Reeves' shooting potential is going to get him an opportunity because I do think Reeves is an elite shooter, and I could only imagine how he would shoot if he was just doing like a workout. Like if they just had him in the gym and somebody was just passing him the ball for him to shoot jumpers in front of some scouts, I think he would hit a ridiculously high percentage of those shots. And I think there's a place for a guy that shoots as good as Reeves if he can play defense. I think he does have a good floater, but I think he I think he has the least amount of ability to create shots like going forward on the NBA level. Like I feel like there was a couple times where he was driving to the basket tonight and he went up and he didn't get the foul call, and I was just thinking to myself, even Reed to a degree, but definitely Dillingham and DJ would have probably switched over to another side, even if they had to jump off the wrong foot and go up and lay the ball in with their left hand. And I just don't know if Antonio really got that in his bag. So that's the reason why I kind of feel like he's a little less versatile. But I feel like if he can just play defense, if he can learn to play defense, he could still make the NBA, because I just feel like, and when I say play defense, I'm not saying he has to be a lockdown defender, but what I'm saying is just consistently play solid defense. I think he could have a good career in the NBA, but he's gotta be able to play at least solid defense to where he ain't just completely getting torched every single night. Reed has to be the point guard, man. DJ isn't a point guard. Yeah, I actually I like Reed better at the point guard position. I think DJ is he's capable of playing point guard, but I think naturally DJ is a better scoring guard than he is a point guard. And I think once DJ becomes a pretty reliable shooter, I think he'll probably naturally transition to playing shooting guard. And I think Reed Shepherd is more of a natural point guard, even though he's a better shooter right now than DJ. But I think Reed, with the way he plays the game, I think he plays the game to set up his teammates, and then he just takes the points as they come. But sometimes Reed does get aggressive. Like if Reed's standing, he'll take a deep 3-pointer, and he'll come off the pick and roll and pop a little mid range jumper. So he does get aggressive sometimes, but I feel like he has more of a instinct to play make for his teammates, more so than DJ, definitely. Reed, Trey, and Tone combined for 34 of the team's 39 second half points. Yep, they collectively played the best today, for sure. He plays free because he's a second-year player. I think the other guards are just scared to miss shots. You could be right about that. I definitely think that's what it is with Justin Edwards. I think Justin Edwards got to a point where he's out there playing, trying not to make mistakes instead of just playing. And once you get to that point where you're just trying not to mess up, usually you mess up more. You have to be confident in yourself, and you have to be okay with, making some mistakes, and you gotta learn to live with it. Like, it happens to everybody, so that's just part of the game. Does it seem like the past 2 games Cal has went back to last year's style of playing offense? Yes. I think Cal, once he got all of his 7-footers back, especially without having a Dude Thero, I think he went back to the 2 big lineup. But I like the lineup with more perimeter players in it. But yeah, the last couple games he definitely went back to that. So who knows what's gonna happen next game? Hopefully Rob will be back. Hopefully Thero will still be able to play. But who knows? But I do like the smaller lineup for sure. Reed doesn't have the quick first step like DJ. Better mid-range seems like, though. Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah. I agree with that. DJ has to learn to drive right, and because it won't work at the next level. DJ does go left a lot, man. He goes right sometimes, but he definitely attacks the basket left-handed a lot. I wouldn't be surprised if he might be ambidextrous because he does shoot the right-handed jumper, but he attacks the basket a lot with his left hand. But yeah, he's definitely got to be able to finish both ways. So they'll have to pick it back up for Florida and Tennessee. Yeah, they just gotta get their defense together. It's the same. It's the same story. But like I said though, I was encouraged to see them at least, even though they didn't really play a great game. They didn't play good necessarily on offense. They didn't really play great on defense, but they played better on defense. So I definitely was encouraged to see they won one on the road. Cal needs to go back to how we was winning in the beginning of the season, running the offense through Antonio. Yeah, I think ambidextrous. Is that not how I said it? I probably just slurred it, man. My bad. But yeah, I think I want Cal to go back to running more ball handlers because I think when he has more ball handlers out on the court, they get a higher assist to turnover ratio, and whenever they move the ball around, I think the offense just flows better. Guys get better shots. I think sometimes having multiple big men in there kind of slows them down, or it kind of takes away from one or two guys that could be pushing the ball up the court. So it kind of puts Trey in a position where he has to play on the perimeter. So yeah, I actually prefer the small ball lineup. But even if he doesn't play it the whole game, I just want him to run it at some points. Like I said, I want to see Trey and the dude play together, with the guards. So hopefully he'll go back to that. Do you think Cal trying to implement the team to playing better defense and in turn is hurting the offense now? Kinda. I think he might just be trying to tighten up the defense because at some point he probably figures in March he's gonna have an ugly game where his offense just don't got the juice, and he needs to make sure that they can win ugly games like this. But yeah, when they just run, they will outscore a lot of teams. When you averaging 90 points a game, you gonna usually have a shot to win. So I do think focusing on defense probably has slowed down the offensive lot, but they gotta get it both together. Like we talked about the 96 Kentucky championship team, they averaged 91 points a game, and I think they held opponents to 69 points a game. So that's the type of production. When you get that, you can win the championship. It may not happen, but you got a team that can do it. And they got the offensive side down, even though, like I said, they struggled tonight, 63 points. But they got an offensive team that can do it, but they got to, at least be a decent defensive team. They don't even got to be like top 5 or top 10, but they got to be at least a solid defensive team, and they could make some noise. But anyways, man, look, I think we pretty much covered everything tonight. Thank y'all again for tuning in and chatting with me. And hopefully, I'll see y'all back on the next one. I'm going to go on and get off here. Y'all have a good rest of y'all's weekend, and we'll do it again next time. Sports and Discourse with Derek Stevenson. See y'all later, guys.